It's time now for our regular focus on mental health and well-being in Mind Matters with Dr. Sian. Earlier, Sian spoke to Scott Mitchell about losing his wife, the legendary Dame Barbara Windsor. They'd been married for 20 years. When she died with dementia in 2020, Scott became her full-time carer in the years up to then, as well as campaigning with her for the Alzheimer Society. They started by talking about his new book, which looks back on his life with Barbara.
Barbara was predicted that I'd be asked to write a book, and that was before she had her illness. In actual fact, she always used to say, "Listen, love, I'm going to go first. That's how it is with you and I." She said, "And you will be asked to write a book when I'm gone." So I said, and I kind of went, "Oh, Barbara." So she went, "No, you will, love." She said, "And all I can say to you is I think you should do one. I know you'll do a really good one, but be honest."
What did she mean by be honest?
By being honest, she meant tell it how it was. With us, with me, with her.
And you met, of course, before she became Peggy.
Yeah, absolutely.
and before her sort of Queen Vic, before she took over the Queen Vic. And were introduced all of a sudden when she was in that environment to a whole different life. Celebrity parties.
Yes.
Going out with Elton John and David Walliams.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I mean, it is incredible. You know, you'd be a liar if you said that that isn't a wonderful experience, a night out, to meet some of these people and become friends with some of these people, and they're still my friends today. And I have to say, you know, so many of Barbara's, let's say, showbiz friends have remained so loyal to me as well since she passed, which I think has been a wonderful thing. But, you know, experiences where you just wanted to pinch yourself and think, oh, this is madness, you know. I mean, our first big date was at the House of Commons, attending the birthday party of an MP.
The last third of the book, and it's lovely seeing your life with her. And of course, there are many ups and downs. The last third, though, does focus on when she received the diagnosis of dementia, which was 2014, and the horrible and cruel deterioration of who she was, and that must have been really hard.
Yeah, it was on, you know, so many different levels. It was hard to watch her go through it.
5 o'clock, 22nd of April, 2014, when you heard the words Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
What went through your mind? What did you think of your future together?
I think I instantly grieved. It was like in the moment I grieved, and I've said this a few times, Barbara reached her hand out towards me and looked at me and she said, "I'm sorry, Scott," which was kind of heartbreaking in itself for me. From that day on, I believe my own grieving started then. I think I had, I'd say, 3 periods of grieving, I'd say one was then. I'd say the second one was when Barbara had to go into a care home and I had to make that decision. And the third one was, of course, when she did pass away.
How much was she aware of the impact that going public about her diagnosis had?
She was aware because I kept telling her. I kept telling her over and over again, and I kept saying to her, or I'd show her articles in newspapers or comments that people had said about, "Thank you for talking about this." So she was in the moment aware of what she was doing. Of course she'd forget. 5 minutes later, she might turn around to me and say, "Don't you tell anyone I'm ill, I won't get any work."
Yeah. When you look back at the good times, what stands out for you? What are the moments and the memories when you think about your life loving Barbara Windsor that you hang on to?
I go back to remembering who she was and who we were together.
She did an interview, and the interviewer asked, "How would you like to be remembered?" And I think I wrote it down because it was so, she was a good bird.
Yes. Yeah, it was Piers Morgan.
Piers Morgan,
It was Piers Morgan in his life stories.
Yeah.
And she said, he said, "How do you want to be remembered? For the best giggle, for the best cleavage?" And she went, "No, actually, I'd just like people to say she was a good bird." And I've actually got that on a stone for her up at the crematorium.
Good luck with the next chapter. Scott Mitchell, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Dr. Sian. Thank you.
Scott speaking with Sian earlier on there. If you want to hear more, there is plenty more. Please take a listen to Sian's podcast, where there's a longer version of the discussion with Scott. It is called Mind Matters with Dr. Sian, and you can find it wherever you get your podcasts.